Hello everyone. Today we have decided to take this current affairs discussion that is plain, simple, tried and tested approach because this has been one of the major bone of contention with UPSC CSE aspirants. As the month of March has hit, you guys are flocking to market and you're seeing multiple sources of current affairs and you're getting boggled by the sheer amount of resources which are available in the market. So let me clear this once and for all for you guys that by sticking with a simple, plain and tried and tested approach, you can absolutely clear your current affairs. Also, current affairs is one of the major areas where unpredictability of UPSC is high, and this is what makes CSE aspirants afraid of current affairs. But trust me, with this, you're going to very safely and surely crack this whole area of current affairs, which is sort of a gray zone. And I'm saying that this is a tried and tested approach because I myself have applied this approach in all of the prelims I have cleared. So I've cleared 4 prelims earlier, including this year. So with this, I am coming from a point of view of a student and also from a point of view of a teacher also. So let's understand that what is this plain, simple, tried and tested approach. And before delving into this, let's understand that why current affairs are important. These are important for both pre and mains. In prelims, you know that around 30% questions, around 25 to 30% questions are going to come from current affairs. Also, the remaining 70% questions, which will be from your static portion, current affairs will also be linked to these 70% of static questions somehow. Not all of it, but some of the questions, some of the part of it will contain 1 or 2 sentences of current affairs. So prelims, it has high weightage in prelims. Then in case of mains, GS 1, 2, 3, 4, optional. In all of these areas, current affairs is important. And to specifically get into prelims, let's see this, that in case of 2021, around 27 current affairs have been asked, varying in different subjects. Then you have the case of 2020, 2019. So you're seeing around 20-25 questions each and every year. This is the case of prelims. And when it comes to mains, GS1, some of the portions of GS1, geography related, especially geography related areas, and also in modern India history, some birth anniversaries, etc. might be coming up, and that will give you cues with regard to all of these things. Then comes GS2, GS3. These subjects, around 90% of these questions can be easily cracked if you have a good grasp over your current affairs, which is going to be embedded in your static. Excuse me. Then you have GS4. Again, in GS4, they pick up these case studies, etc. from different current affairs, different case studies which are again linked to your current issues, events, etc. Then again, in optional, you have to use examples, especially in humanity subjects like sociology, philosophy, etc. You have to use current affairs examples. So in all of these areas, prelims, be it mains, it is quite important and you simply cannot ignore it. And this is mostly why what basically makes the paper of UPSC predictable. Contrary to the fear you have that UPSC is quite unpredictable, if you are doing a scientific study, a smart study, you're applying this plain and simple approach, trust me that the paper would be quite predictable. For example, in 2022 paper, they had asked about anti-defection law. Now, anti-defection law is a static topic, but since there were different sorts of issues which were revolving around this area, they had asked a question on this. Similarly, on deputy speaker. Again, in the previous paper, they had asked about Chauncet Huguenot Temple. And this was again rotating, this again was making rounds in the current affairs. So always and always you'll have high impact areas also in your static portion, which you'll understand that these are becoming important because of current affairs. So what current affairs does is that it gives cues for high impact areas of your static portion. And trust me with this, you pick up any year's question paper, you'll understand that these are the questions which are from static, 100% static, but these are there because of current affairs. So current affairs, for that, it is particularly important. Now, this is again the second bone of contention. From where do you have to read it? How do you have to read it? And till when or till what time, or what is the amount of months of the in totality of these current affairs which you have to study. So from where, there are various sources. There are various sources in the markets. If you go to the market, you will see monthly magazines, you will see yearly compilations, you will see different magazines like Yojana, etc. Then you have internet resources, PRS summaries, PIB news, RSTV, all of that. So there is this sheer presence of different sources in the market. You can, for your own, this fear of FOMO, fear of missing out, what you can do is that you simply stick to one source. So from where you can do monthly compilations, and I'm particularly against yearly compilations, because what yearly compilations do is that they are mainly focused towards pre. And for prelims, you'll do these yearly compilations. Again, after having cleared pre, you'll be faced with this whole pressure of mains. And then mains, again, you'll have to do yearly compilations with regard to mains. So there will be redundancy in your approach. So I would suggest that do monthly compilations, so that you will be kept in touch with both prelims and mains related areas. And again, you wouldn't have to repeat your sources again when it comes to mains approach. Also, the program which we have, Samachar Manthan, it is an even better program. And I myself, in this particular attempt, I had followed this approach only, that I was tackling current affairs on a weekly basis. So in our Samachar Manthan, you can get a link of this in the description box. You can also download a few content from the description box. So in Samachar Manthan, what we do is that we cover current affairs on a weekly basis, and these current affairs are of both pre and mains. Since right now we are facing pre, so major focus is on the pre-related topics, but we are not leaving mains out altogether, because ultimately mains is what is going to get you into the list. So we have to do an integrated study, and trust me, this is going to save you much time in the later months after pre, because then you'll be faced with the sheer magnanimity of covering your optional, covering essay, ethics, GS2, GS3, all of it. So right now, this is the perfect time. 3 months, trust me, is enough to cover current affairs in such a holistic manner that you decrease this redundancy of approach. So from where you can take any monthly magazine, you can take our Samachar Manthan magazines, which are linked and which have been dealt in totality with respect to pre and mains. Also, if you're doing this on a weekly basis, you'll not have to wait for a complete month to get end. Like if you wait for these monthly compilations, you'd have to wait for around 15th to 20th of the next month to get in touch with the previous month's current affairs. But on a weekly basis, you'll be able to keep in touch with all of the current affairs. So there will be increased retention of these current affairs, because you are seeing them in news. So that is going to be there. And also pre and mains both are linked together. Also previous year questions are also posted simultaneously in case of Samachar Manthan, so you can go through this. Also all of the sources which I had mentioned, be it RSTV, be it PRS summaries, PIB news, and different such other sources, all of the newspapers. If you go and read the newspapers, it would be extremely difficult for you to extract all of this information, which is important for pre. And also these other sources, you'll not be able to devote much time to. So when you do these weekly basis current affairs, what you can do is that within 1.5 hours per day, only and only if you're devoting 1.5 hours per day to current affairs, trust me, your current affairs will be absolutely clear. And since I had myself followed this approach, that's why I'm telling you with this certainty. So you can attend the classes, you can attend these classes, and you can also, or if you don't want to attend the classes, you can simply go through the handouts also. So this is one such thing. Also, this will cover all of these sources, RSTV, etc. So you wouldn't have to waste much time. So keep very simple approach regarding where that stick to minimum sources but do maximum revision. Now, how do you have to read it? How also we have dealt with that weekly is much better than monthly, and monthly is much better than yearly in my eyes, because you would save much time, especially after prelims, right? And then till when? What is the amount of months you have to study current affairs of? So I would suggest anywhere from 1 to 1.5 years. There's no need to go back to go beyond these 1.5 years, because the number of questions is going to be extremely low, and the input output or cost benefit ratio will also decrease. So it doesn't make sense that you devote much time to current affairs which are older than 1.5 years. Instead of that, you focus on your static portion, because static is your 70%, current affairs is around 30%. Remember that static is to current affairs. When it comes to pre, it's approximately 70 to 30%. So you would have to devote your 70% time to static. You would have to revise it multiple times, but that 30% time should be available to should be available to current affairs, and around 1 to 1.5 hours you can devote to current affairs on a daily basis. Rest of the time will go into your mock paper solving, etc. So minimum sources, maximum revision. This applies to both static and current affairs. And when it comes to current affairs, don't flock to different magazines just to get rid of this FOMO or fear of missing out, that this coaching particularly has given this or that coaching has given this. Don't worry about that. Just stick to one source and revise it multiple times. So your sources should be limited, but revisions should be maximized. And which subjects to focus on in these current affairs, whatever sources you're adhering to, there are going to be few specific subjects which are going to be really important. These are economics. Economics is mainly embedded in current affairs. They are going to ask you different trends, etc., in different relations between repo rate, employment, etc. And that you can get a fair understanding of via reading current affairs. When it comes to polity, you don't have to stick to these monthly or yearly compilations, because polity, one solid source is your Lakshmikant. Whatever current affairs are going to be there, that you will know, and that can be studied from these, only the index of these monthly magazines or yearly magazines. You wouldn't have to go into the details of it, right? Because ultimately wahi mostly copy pasted hoga Lakshmikant ka. Economics is one of the areas. Then IR is important with regard to the places, etc., places, conventions, treaties, etc., which are taking place. So with regard to IR, again you would have to read it. Then comes environment and S&T. These are the most important areas of current affairs. Now, all of the other magazines, if you're reading yearly compilations, you can maybe skip those yearly compilations, etc. But at least these should be adhered with. Whatever you're doing, don't miss out the current affairs of these topics, especially because these are the high impact areas. Then how to smartly study. One is getting cues from current affairs, and then applying it to static portion. Like for say, recently only we had taken this, abhi humne baat kari 64 Yogini temple. Then you go to art and culture and you understand the details of this temple, or Kakatiya architecture, you understand the detail of it. Now anti-defection law is in news, you understand the nitty-gritties of anti-defection law. Similarly, if there are tweaks which are going on in the repo rate, you go into the detail of these open market operations, etc. So get cues from current affairs and then read the important areas of static portion. Secondly, monthly versus yearly, that we have already dealt with, that which is better, weekly, monthly or yearly. I would say highest impact would be of weekly, and then monthly, and then yearly. Yearly, there is redundancy of approach, because there is repetition. There is repetition both for pre and mains. You will have to do it. Otherwise, you can simply follow these monthly magazines. Time lagega, but trust me, that time saved will be a very big boost to your mains preparation. Then how to study smartly? You have to do smart study. Hard work only doesn't matter over here. So smart study may, it could either be by Note making. So what approach I have discussed multiple times with my students, and also in the previous discussions also, that I used to keep this matrix diary one matrix diary for all of the current affairs. So around 1 to 1.5 years of current affairs is there in this one small diary, one small notebook. And in this, I would only extract the factual information. Like I will share to you the screenshots or the scanned version of this notebook, a few examples of it. So initially, I have compiled all of the important reports, indexes, etc. Then I have compiled again the conventions, then all of the bodies, then all of these lists, Ramsar, etc. So ये तो हो गया आपका एक short listed topics. Then again, all of the topics of economics, IR, environment, SMT. So like again, if I had to give prelims again this time, I wouldn't have to study all of these current affairs from scratch again. What I would do that I'll simply open my science and technology वाला जो topic है वो मैं open कर लूँगी, and then already I have all of these NASA related launches, ISRO related launches, space missions, etc. Theories of black hole, everything is written over here. I wouldn't have to flock to these current affairs magazines again and again. I can simply revise this as a solid basis. Again, what it does is that it becomes a very good fodder material for your mains examination. So notes have to be really concise, to the point, really factual. You don't have to write big sentences, etc. All of the current affairs related information can come in a few 5 to 6 lines itself. All of the government schemes, etc. also you can compile in 3 to 4 lines. So notes should be concise, and this can also become fodder material for mains examination. Because I had actually utilized this again notebook in mains examination. So back in the 2020 mains examination, I had compiled within itself like Jal Shakti Abhiyan, etc., or be it NEP, EIA, etc. All of this information which was there for pre, that I had readily used in case of mains examination. So ये आपका एक टाइम सेव कर जाएगा, स्ट्रक्चराइज हो जाएगा आपका पूरा स्टडी मेथड, एंड इट विल ऑल्सो be a value addition for your mains examination, so that you'll have surety of getting into the list. Then what is the role of newspaper? Lastly, do you have to read newspapers on a daily basis? So I would say you can keep on reading newspapers, especially for your CSAT preparation, because CSAT would require this analytical understanding, and also your reading speed will matter a lot. Your reading speed will matter a lot in case of CSAT. तो what you can do, newspaper के लिए आप ये कर सकते हैं कि morning में while having your breakfast etc. you can go through newspaper, but you do not need to extract information from newspapers, because this job is already done by several coaching, several monthly magazines, compilations, etc. They are already doing it for you. We are doing it for you. So you can rely on it. So just read, keep the habit of reading newspaper for your own sake of keeping your reading speed and analytical understanding in check. Otherwise, you can ignore it and you can rely on these current affairs. So lastly, to summarize what we have dealt into, that what are the sources, minimum sources, you stick to any monthly magazine, you can sign up for Samachar Manthan. I myself had done it, and based on that only, I was able to, and I had gotten only around 10 to 12 days specifically for prelims preparation. But since current affairs, since static was solid, I only needed to brush up all of these concepts. So I was sticking with this with this weekly compilation of current affairs which I was getting. So first, that understanding was really solid. So minimum sources, maximum revision around 3 to 4 times. Revision also, when you make a diary like this, you can easily revise this diary within like 2-3 days itself. शुरुआत में करने में आपको 2-3 days लगेंगे, and then you can even revise it in like 1 day. So just before a day of your examination, if you're simply sticking with these monthly magazines, etc., alag bundles, then you will devote much more time to that. But that time should be devoted to your static, like polity, spectrum, or all of the areas which you feel you're lacking in. एंड करंट अफेयर्स का जो है आपके पास सॉलिड क्रिस्प नोट्स होना चाहिए. सो वेयर, हाउ, टिल व्हेन, अराउंड 1 to 1.5 years. सो लेट्स से मई में अगर एग्जाम है, सो यू कैन गो टिल द टाइम ऑफ जनवरी 2022, बट नॉट फार्दर देन दैट. जनवरी 2022 to the month of May 2023 or April 2023, that is enough. Okay. Again, we have studied how to make these notes. I'll share with you the scanned version, a few pages of these notebook, and you can further inquire with the CD office with regard to getting in touch with me or understanding about the course which we have, Samachar Manthan. You can easily sign up for that. Can cover all of your current affairs within 1 to 1.5 hours. Also, we have understood the importance for pre-mains. It will make your exam much predictable. If you understand that what are these high impact areas, you will know that this is the areas which I have to focus mainly on. So in the last examination also, just before the prelims examination, we had covered anti-defection law, we had covered several other topics like Web3, etc., which came in the examination. So you can rely on this. You can rely on your solid understanding of static embedded with current affairs. Start linking current affairs with the static, and you'll surely be fairly comfortable when you'll be attempting your pre. And for more information, etc., for more information about Samachar Manthan or regarding mentorship, etc., you can connect with CD via the link which is provided in your description box. So all the best everyone for the CSE 2023 attempt.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from Civilsdaily.